So today we'll be studying about early Christian architecture. The time period is 313 to 800 AD. So some characteristics features for this kind of architecture, which is early Christian, were that the early Christian did make ample use of Greco-Roman architecture. There was no prosperity as was in Roman period, and they had no substantial precedents of their own to follow. They made um, they made use of the remains of Roman buildings for the construction of their new churches. The orders of temples and stoas were, whether Doric, Ionic, or Corinthian, were collected and disposed them into symbolic plans. In the early stage, they did not solve constructive problems. The columns were either too short or long. Sometimes they were fluted and even unfluted, whether where they were brought to a uniform size and height by some device for the use of same churches. Then the columns were either closely spaced to carry interlater or widely stayed to carry semicircular arches. There was no one basic kind of um Constant, Constantinian church. Even the basilican form was variously treated and was not in any way standardized. Uh, the plan of the church was simple in design. They have two colonnades forming a long nave in the center and the two or four aisles on either side with a high altar at one end and covered with a simple timber roof trusses. The baptistries and mausoleums chapels, however, were circular and octagonal in shape based on the Roman precedents, and they were also in the shape of Greek cross. Yet early Christian style evolved many forms, visual effect from those early in existence. The monumental churches succeeded brilliantly for the rapidly changing world. The Basilican churches were rendered spacious, graceful, impressive, and dignified by arranging the columns in a row. Most important of all, the main entrance was provided in one shorter side. This sort of treatment has driving point of focus. I was directed horizontally along the rows of columns to the seat of God placed on the high altar. One can see the continuous magical rhythm fill the whole of the church. Moldings were coarse, like in the Roman period. Skillful craftsmen once scarce. Incised relief molding, acanthus leaves molding were most common. A vast cycle of picture, emblem, biblical scenes, and processions of martyrs in mosaic began by Ostrogoths and finished under Justinian enriched um, early Christian architecture. In these, colors were the prime ingredient. Colored mosaic representing Christ, the Virgin lined the the biblical scenes become usual features of decoration. Their architecture represent their phantasm, their passionate search for the mystery and for the real presence. The constructional features and spatial development are so fitting. and completely established that neither Gothic nor the present day churches have gone beyond it. The typical examples were the Basilican churches. The old basilicas of Rome, used as hall or justice, were slightly modified into basilican churches. However, they have colonnades not only between the naves and aisles, but also on the narrow side, like in the Greek temple turned outside in. Even two apses were not uncommon, while transept between naves and apse, but the apse at the one end was cut off from the main body, forming the atrium or an open court in the front. Thus, as a general term for a long aisle hall and word basilica may have been transferred from pagan to Christians. Another guess is that it might have come from schola or a private hall in large houses used from the worship by the Christians. The nave was used as congregational hall. The apses were occupied by the bishops, which were used by praetors in Rome. Basilicas and members of the churches occupied the seat of the Roman assessors. The altar in front, which was used for sacrifice by Romans, was now converted for Christian rites. The Basilican churches were usually built over places or confession of great saints to whom the churches were dedicated. So there were main four or five churches. So the first one is Basilican Church of S. Peter, Rome. It was built by Constantine in 300 AD. I have a plan for this Basilican church and I'll be sharing it to you. So, the Basilican Church of St. Peter's, Rome, it was Constantine in 300 AD. It was built by Constantine in 300 AD. And in the first century, Nero built a circus outside the city which was used for the horses and chariot racing. Saint Peter was crucified at the obelisk that stood on the spine of the circus and then buried in the adjacent cemetery. The cemetery was in the use for the next 250 years until Constantine decided to build his memorial church there in the honor of Peter. The ground plan is in the form of cross and the sign under which he had conquered. Then there is a atrium which is open rectangular court formed an imposing approach. Next to narthex between atrium and church, the narthex open to a great nave with double aisle ending in the five arches, and the central one is called the Arch of Triumph. At the end was a bema of platform and the apse with pope seats. It was pulled down to raise the present cathedral in 1505. The obelisk of the circus, which stood at the side of the old church, now stand in the great ceremonial plaza of St. Peter's. Then there was another church, which is the Church of Nativity in Bethlehem, which is constructed in 330 AD. It was founded by the Constantine at the birthplace of Jesus Christ. It consists of atrium and a large sized nave, two aisles formed by two rows of monolithic Corinthian columns, and it is about 6 meters in height. This historic building is surrounded by high walls enclosing presence of Greek, Latin, and America. Then the next church is Saint Maria Maggiore, which is in Rome, and it was constructed in 432 AD. The Basilica of Megore is the most convincing source of early Christian architecture yet found. It was built by the Pope Sixtus III. It is little subterranean building and which is hardly 13 meters in the length. It is a single aisle hall with beautiful ionic column in marble, and it contains mosaic above the interlater showing Sixtus III dealing with the Old Testament. And the apical end is the high altar built over Confessio, converted by Baldacchino. The next basilica is Saint Catherine Monastery, which was built in mid 6th century. It was built as a fortress shrine on the Mount Sinai. The legend has it that Moses received 10 commandments on the Mount Sinai, changed the architectural construction of churches, monasteries took place on the account of the Crusades. The next is the Church of Holy Sepulchre, which is in Jerusalem. It is erected over the reputed tomb of Christ. It was damaged by the Persians and the Muslims, but was built by Crusaders. So the next topic is Byzantine architecture. The Byzantine architecture is characterized by the novel development of dome to cover the square or the polygonal plan of the church and tomb, while Roman placed domes only on the circular plan. This system of placing the dome was gradual from Rome to early Christian period. But after 2 centuries, the system of the domical roof became the chief motive of the design in the Byzantine architecture. The various types of domes were used, which were simple, compound, melon-shaped, or onion-shaped. These domes were placed on a square or a polygonal plan by means of spherical pendative, which is triangular curved overhanging surface formed between the adjacent arches. Placing of small domes around the large central dome was very effective. On the account of their great height, eye was directed upward as if pointing to the sky or heaven, while in early Christian style, eye was directed horizontally along the rows of columns to the seat of the god. The domes were constructed without centering with thin radiating bricks or lightweight pumic stones to lessen the side thrust on supporting walls. The use of cement started in the Roman period and was continued by the Byzantines. The brickwork in concrete was first completed and allowed to settle before covering the interior surface with marble slab. The external facades were decorated with various design patterns in the brickwork. They found the bricks indispensable so that looked great interest in manufacture of brick. For the brickwork they needed concrete, which they prepared from lime, sand, crushed tile, and bricks. Byzantine used the columns decoratively and well as structurally to support the galleries, semicircular arches, molding were rare. The interior were radiant with beautiful pavements. The walls were fully covered with marble, mosaic, and fresco decoration. The Byzantine architecture, which is devoid of sculpture, expressed fully in flat-colored glass mosaics, biblical scenes, group of saints, holy monogram of Christ over the church wall arches and walls. So, Charu, you have joined just now, so like there are like few topics which you have left. If you want to write down, I can dictate it slow to you. Otherwise, you can go through the video because obviously you have left few points. Only like examples are left.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I will see the video.
Okay, take care. So look, obviously you have to see the video because we have started with the new topic, which was early Christian architecture, and now we are going through the Byzantine architecture. Uh, it is like it comprise of just the characteristics features and few examples. Same with the Byzantine, I have already uh, like explained the characteristics features, and now we are doing this typical examples. So here you can write down it's Saint S. Sergius and Bacchus, which is in Istanbul, and it was built in 527 AD. It was built by Justinian. The building stands on a plan measuring 33 meter by 28 meter. It has four colonnaded exeter and the dome, which supports the spherical pendentives in 15.8 meter dia and 22-meter high. Then there's Saint Sophia, Istanbul. Uh, it was constructed by Justinian by two genius architects, Anthemius of Tralles and Isidorus of Miletus. The church was designed in the form of Greek cross, which is 91.5 by 99 meter with the top of the dome and 54.8 from the ground. It has a central space of 32.6 meters square and four massive stone panels, which are 7.6 meter and 18.3 meters, pierced by arches to form aisles and galleries. The stone piers support four semicircular arches forming a spherical pendentif on which rests the dome of 32.6 meter dia, and it is 54.8 meter above the ground. The curved surface of the dome produces extraordinary effects of the resonance. On both ends of two large hemicycles cur- covered with semi-domes forming an oval nave 68.6 meter long and 32.6 meter wide. The hemicycles are flanked exedra converted with semi-domes which act as buttresses to the central dome. Charu, I'll be sharing the section of this Saint Sophia, and like you can clearly see the three zones. I'll be sharing it in the group so that when you people need to sketch it, you can sketch it easily.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Basically, the central dome here is 33-meter across, which is larger than the Tepidarium of Thermae of Caracalla, which appears like a canopy in the center and hung by the golden chain from the sky. The dome collapsed due to the earthquake in AD 558 and had to be rebuilt. The marble columns, 107 in all, support the groined vault under the galleries. The interiors are decorated with um, colored mosaics which shine brilliantly under the light of the clear story formed by the row of 40 windows in the lower part of the dome, and it is also illuminated by thousands of candles during rite, which further help dramatize the spiritual effect of the interiors. Judged from the grandeur, it is similar to Parthenon of Greeks and Pantheon of Romans. The great architect Sir Christopher Wren studied its design when he planned St. Paul's Cathedral in London in 1675 AD. The stupendous size of the congregation hall, with high and wide domes illuminated by thousands of candles, was an inspiration sight for the followers. Thus, the simple faith of Jesus, celebrated with the dazzling splendors, showed the greatness of divine power they worship. No doubt, Justin rightly said, Solomon, I have outdone you. In 1453 AD, Constantinople fell in the hand of Sultan of Turkey, who converted it into a mosque with the tall pinnacle that surrounded the central dome today, and it is now a museum. So you can obviously read about this uh, as Hagia Sophia. matlab it's very common, very famous building. You must have heard about it. Okay, Charu. So I'm just ending the class now. We have done two topics, and please ask others to join from the next class because we'll be doing Romanesque architecture, then Gothic architecture, and like we have lots of topics. We have Renaissance, then we have modern architecture, and then art. Like this unit will be completed. So I just want you to ask others to join as well. For now, I'm just ending this class right now.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Go through the video once so that like you get everything we have studied today. Plus, like if you have any confusion, do let me know. If you want a revision on the same topic, do let me know. Even ask like others also that if they have any doubt in the video, अगर proper notes ही चाहिए, so I can just do that as well in a revision class for this one. Otherwise, uh, yeah, we are done with these two topics and we start with Gothic or Romanesque in the next session. Thank you,
Oh,
Charu.
thank you, ma'am.